Hello all of YouTube, this is Pacman5698 bringing you LA Noire with Pacman Episode 1. Now, to be serious, and after that recycled joke, I am going to be doing a With Pacman series about LA Noire. The first thing I'm going to say is that this series is going to be different than that of Red Dead Redemption with Pacman, because with Red Dead Redemption with Pacman, the series focused entirely on the free-roaming aspect of the game, with me commenting, making jokes, but in this series, I am actually going to play through parts of the story. Yes, I'm going to be showing all of you the story in a Rockstar game. Oh my god! Now, you see how I selected cases and I'm going to Patrol Desk? I am going to select the first case of the of this desk, B-Cop as some people would put it, and to get things started, I'm just going to say that I thought this game was pretty good. It's not like your typical sandbox Rockstar game. Well, actually, Rockstar presented it. From what I've heard, it was made by a company called Team Bondi. Bondi, not Band-Aid. The company that makes all of those Godzilla toys. But, yeah, this game was actually pretty interesting. It worked in its own way, and it's definitely worth checking out. Not good as Red Dead Redemption, though, and obviously, the game style and setting is based off the film genre of film noir. Already, this game is looking like a film noir. Noir means black in French, and this game is so popular, when you hear the word noir, a lot of people are probably going to be talking about LA Noire. You know, black and white detectives, dark alleyways, lights, chasing down suspects, murderers, figuring out crimes. But before I continue on with this mission, I'm going to show you all that I have 100% completion, and in order to do it, you have to complete all of the story cases, not counting the DLC cases. So you gotta complete all 21. Then you have to complete the street crimes. Crimes basically act like the stranger missions in Red Dead Redemption and the random encounters in GTA 4. Mostly focused on action. They're fairly quick. Then you have to discover all of the landmarks, you know, all the buildings, the areas Los Angeles is famous for. You also have to get all of the golden film reels. There are all of these golden film reels well hidden across the city of Los Angeles. Whether or not they're based off of real movies, I don't know. Then you have to drive every single last vehicle in the game, and that, I think, is a pain. I don't think it's entirely necessary. Some of the cars are very rare to find, and some of them can only be you can find some of them only at different places and different times. It's like in Red Dead Redemption, if you had to find every horse and every car and break them and then drive them. Then you have to get all the newspapers, and we're going to be finding one soon, so I'll explain that later. The driving controls are identical to that of Grand Theft Auto 4's. R2 is accelerate, L2 is brake, X is handbrake, and this case actually does a good job of drawing the player into the gameplay. So, we're at the crime scene. Looks exactly like film noir, dark alley, lights, steam coming from the manholes, and I love the way Cole Phelps just ran to Floyd Rose, the guy in the gray suit. Why did he just use that word? It's like he doesn't have any respect for Scooter Payton. He was murdered, he was killed, and he uses that insensitive word? It's insulting. So,
I'm not expecting any miracles.
Oh great, and now he calls him a lowlife. Yeah, showing a lot of respect for the deceased. That, the guy in the green suit is Rusty Galloway. He's, a detective of homicide. So, our assignment is to return any clues we find that could be useful in solving the crime, and to return them to Central. Hold R2 to run. That's the only major difference from GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption. You no longer hold X to run. But on ground, aside from that, pretty much all the controls are the same. You can even, you know, look backwards and all that. Now, we're searching for clues, just like real-life detective cases and in the genre of film noir, but not all of the objects you pick up will relate to the crime. Like these beer bottles, they have nothing to do with the case. You'll know when an object has nothing to do with the crime when your player says something like, probably irrelevant, or maybe nah. So, yeah, also if you pick up an object and if there are no sounds like dun duh, and you can just put it back down. So these beer bottles, I'm manipulating the object, I'm looking at it from all sides, but just nothing. So, yeah, those beer bottles are useless in solving the crime. My partner called me over to look at this blood splatter. Look at that splatter of blood. That looks like the work of a shotgun. You press X when you hear a vibration, like that. You know that little piano vibration, that little dun dun dun. That means you can press X to examine a clue, whether it's a location, an object, or yeah, I think that's it. You also get clues during interrogation, but there is no interrogation. There is no interrogation in this case. That comes, I think, in my next episode, when I'll show you the last case of patrol of a beat cop. Yeah. So we're just gonna look for some more clues with my flashlight. Man, the scenery in this game is actually pretty good. It perfectly depicts the style of film noir. So, yeah. The music, also, you know that music is playing like that, yeah, that don, 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 that film noir type of music. That means that there are still clues to be found, and when the investigation music, as they call it, stops, when that music stops playing, that means I have found all of the clues. Also, you know when I examined the blood splatter, I think the newspaper's this way, anyway, you know when I examined the blood splatter and it said in the corner, like, new clue, blood splatter? That means that you have found the clue and it's in your notebook, but we'll take a look at the notebook later. The newspaper wasn't over there. It's on these, like, these little wooden things. It looks like they're used for wine or something. Here are the newspapers. Now, did you hear that sound, that dun-duh? That means that I can further examine the object, meaning that it is a clue. Newspapers have headlines that, if you press X to examine them, it will reveal a side story which later takes effect at the end of the L.A. Noire case. Like, the plot of this newspaper storyline will meet up with Cole's storyline at the near the end of the game, so I'll shut up and let you all see it.
Young man, I really enjoyed your lecture, Doctor. Psychiatry seems to have a tremendous amount to offer.
Why, thank you. I'm always happy to receive acknowledgement for my work. The mind is the last great mystery in medicine. Are you thinking of specializing, Mr.
Sheldon, or Courtney Sheldon. I'm only in second year, Doctor. They fast-tracked me a year because of my experience during the war.
Ah.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Battle fatigue and collapse under duress. Can it be helped?
I would say yes, given the right set of circumstances. Trauma forces the mind to close down, retreat in on itself. We try to find ways to unlock the mind again through a combination of therapy and drug treatment. Hypnosis and therapy are powerful tools in the right hands, Sheldon.
I've been to visit some of the guys at the VA hospital. A good friend of mine, he's so far away. It's like he's wandering.
You went through a lot together.
Yes, Doctor.
Give me his details and I'll make a prognosis. I have a number of clinics in Los Angeles, Courtney Sheldon. And your penance, for your friend's help, is to come and work at one of them in your spare time. With what little spare time a medical student has. Is that a deal?
Is it ever? I can't thank you enough.
I'm not promising a cure, Courtney. I want you to remember that. Every physician has patients that he cannot hope to cure, for whom he can only smooth the path to death.
Man, Rockstar made that look so real, it's almost like watching a movie. Well, anyways, back to the gameplay. Newspaper or a beer bottle? Oh well, I can't make that decision yet. So, we're just looking around. Also, a clue that's fairly tricky to find is you see that window in the top left that's flashing and has an electrical problem. Well, if you stand below that window and you press X when the vibration activates, it will show the reflection of the murder weapon. It's a revolver.
There's something on the rooftop.
Look at Ralph in the back.
hell
Was
did
he
you
just
see that?
looking at that bloodstain while I was going through the rest of the alley for, I don't know, 4 friggin' minutes? Was he just looking in awe at that bloodstain for 4 minutes? Oh well, so now we gotta find a way to get to the top of the building and get the murder weapon. So, it already tells you what to do. I like the sound when the text appears. In Red Dead Redemption, it was a duh sound, and in a game like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the text made a duh sound. Well, in LA Noire, it's a type sound. It's a sound. So, I climbed up the building via drainage pipe, and there's the weapon. Let's see, it's a revolver. It's stub nose, which explains why, the blood splatter was so large. And did you hear that dun-dun sound when I picked it up? Well, that means that I do not get the clue immediately. I have to manipulate it to see where the clue is. You see how I'm looking at it from different angles? I have to use the analog stick to find out where the clue is on the object. And there it is. It's the serial number, and it's classified as a Smith & Wesson. You press X to further investigate the object. So, 2 bullets fired.
2 rounds fired.
Oh, 2 rounds, excuse me.
Instead of dropping it down a drain, our shooter hoists it up here.
Yeah, Cole Phelps has a good point, and Stan Birdman in his first playthrough, I mean. Our murderer is not too smart. He's actually very dumb for just throwing the gun on top of the building, I don't know, for frustration, or just the fact that he was worried. He was like, oh, throwing it on this roof is the greatest idea. I mean, the police will never search there. He's pretty dumb. And now, because of his ignorance and his stupidity, we're now going to be able to trace his address with that serial number.
There's a place a couple of blocks from here.
A couple of blocks from here. Trust me, you're going to be hearing that line from Ralph a lot. Press select to open the notebook. Now, we're going to use the notebook to recap on what we found. The first page is simple. It lists what we can look at, people, clues, locations, intuition, case objectives, the type of case we have, and what category. Let's recap on the people. We have Scooter Payton, the murder suspect, and Detective Floyd Rose. So, let's take a look at Scooter Payton. Am I missing anybody? I thought I was missing somebody. Was there? Oh, my partner. My partner's just automatically listed. And now look at that. Look at what it says in the description. Even the description of the detective who's trying to solve the friggin' case doesn't seem respectful, doesn't seem to show any respect the fact that this person was murdered. He still uses that word. Okay, our murder suspect, simple, tall, Caucasian male, described by witness, but we don't know who the witness is. And Detective Floyd Rose, the homicide investigator, first on shooting. And for the clues we found, just 2. We found the blood stain and the Smith & Wesson revolver. The blood stain. Blood splatters, it's a little pixelated. It's majorly pixelated in the movie file I'm looking at now. The and here's the Smith & Wesson revolver, serial number S7, can't read the serial number, 2 rounds fired. So, that's all the clues we have, but the serial number seems to be the most vital piece of evidence in this crime scene yet. Looking at this picture right now, I think I actually have a gun very similar to that in one of my classes in Call of Duty Black Ops. I think I have a gun with a stub nose.
Are you sure about this?
So, we're gonna go to the gun store and trace the address of our murderer.
The suit didn't seem to give much of a damn.
Cole Phelps is saying that he does not like being a patrol cop and he wants to get promoted to detective quickly. According to LA Noire, patrolman is the lowest class of policemen in Los Angeles, but patrolmen are usually what you think of when you hear the word police because they're the ones you see the most. You know, they're stopping crimes on the spot, they're riding around in ordinary police cars. So I marked the location we're going to go to, the gun store, on the map, and let me tell you, the world of Los Angeles in this game is huge. I mean, really it's huge. You have different districts like Hollywood, Central, you have industrial areas, you have famous landmarks, and also the boundaries. Here, this area I'm showing you, those gray areas represent the boundaries of where you're not allowed to go beyond. I think the boundaries in LA Noire were more clever than the Grand Theft Auto boundaries where your city is like in the middle of an ocean, or in Red Dead Redemption where all the cliffs become suddenly so steep so you can't cross over them. But in LA Noire it's more clever, in which in LA Noire, the boundaries in the game where you cannot go further out into Los Angeles, it's basically buildings. It's basically buildings built next to each other so tightly that you can't get past the buildings. Still a little silly, but it's more clever than other Rockstar boundaries. Now, before we go to the location, I'm gonna discuss intuition in the game. Intuition is like a bonus power when you level up in your ranks. The highest rank you can get to is level 20. The way you progress in your levels is by getting XP. If you answer questions correctly, you get XP. If you drive new cars, you get XP. If you complete street crimes, you get XP. If you collect newspapers, film reels, you get XP. So essentially, anything that you do that gets you closer to 100%, you get XP. When you level up, you get a reward. Sometimes the reward can be 5 rare vehicles parked in garages across Los Angeles. Sometimes the reward can be a new outfit to wear, but most of the time, the award is an intuition point. And what you can do with intuition is, at a crime scene, you can use intuition points to show all clues at a crime scene, ask the Rockstar community to see what answer for an interrogation got picked the most, or remove an answer for an interrogation question to narrow down your odds, but I'll discuss those in the next episode. So, we're not going to go to the gun store first. First, I'm going to find the LA Public Library, and I'm going to mark it, and that's going to be our next location. The reason why is because the LA Public Library is where you can interact with the game the most, anytime, so therefore the LA Public Library is the location of the game's peak of free roaming, if you will. The reason why I'm not doing free roam in this game is because the free roam aspect of the game, it's not as good as Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto 4, mainly because all you can do in the free roam part of the game is just walk around and explore the city. It can be fun, but because you're a cop, you can kill people, sadly you can't get anything to eat or drink, you can't bowl, and just to demonstrate how the game will not allow you to kill people, look at this. At this point, I was probably pushing the R2, L2 buttons, so I just ran. I can pull out a weapon, and you see this woman? I can't even fight her with my fists. You see, I'm going to try to select this woman, but it's just not working. You see, it's not working. So, as a cop, I really like it that you're not allowed to kill people, but then again, a lot of people were expecting this with anything that the Rockstar logo, any game that has the Rockstar logo on it, they expect it to be a game where you can go around and kill people. Well, that's not the case here. So we're going to go to the LA Public Library. Here we are now. There's my partner. Get up here. So, the reason why I'm going to climb up the LA Public Library is because there are 2 parts at the top of that library where you can actually walk on a plank of wood, and you have to balance yourself on the piece of wood. So, yeah, you have to walk and balance yourself on the plank of wood. If you fail 3 times, you're gonna fall and probably die. You can do this anytime you want, from the first mission to the last, so that's why I consider this plank of wood, these 2 planks of wood where you can balance, the most interactive objects possible in the game. You can also interact with these 2 planks of wood anytime you want, so that's why I consider it a part of the game's free roam. Although getting past those 2 planks of wood is required in the final homicide case. The Quarter Moon's murders. You have to get to the top of the LA Public Library in order to see. Yeah, you see that plank of wood? Look, I'm gonna step on it. I have to use the left stick in order to balance on the plank of wood. What you're seeing right now in action, what you just saw. You notice how you saw Cole Phelps walk across that beam of wood? That was the peak of LA Noire's free roam. That's the most interactivity you're gonna have in LA Noire in terms of free roam. Also, if you fall off the plank of wood, if you don't keep your balance and you end up falling off, well, not falling off, you fall off and then you catch your grip, but look at LA. It's a beautiful city. You can hear the wind. It's really it's pretty well reconstructed too. This is pretty much on par with how Los Angeles was in the 1940s, real life. This city is a real-life reconstruction of how Los Angeles was in the 1940s. Anyways, I'm gonna lose my balance on this beam of wood on purpose so that Cole Phelps will lose his hat. I haven't seen much of Cole Phelps without his hat while he's not wearing a suit. Oh, I lost my hat. I've always wanted to see what Cole Phelps looked like when he's not wearing his hat while he's wearing his beat cop outfit. So, there we go. You see there? Cole Phelps hatless. So, now I gotta get down. So, I'm getting down. Also enjoy Cole Phelps without his hat, because pretty soon I'm gonna get it back, because in the world of LA Noire, during a cutscene, you're gonna get your hat back. If only it was that simple in real life. Also, we're gonna be on our way to the gun store. I just want to say that this is not gonna be like Red Dead Redemption with Pacman, in which there was 1 episode per month. The way that I'm gonna put down different episodes is gonna be completely random. It's gonna be completely random. It may take a while, it may be a short time. I'm not gonna try to make it too long, but it's just random. It's whenever I have the time and whenever I have the memory. So it could be like 2 a week, or it could be like 1 every 3 weeks, you know, so you just gotta find out later on. So now we're going to the gun store. Also, if you're wondering why when we get to the gun store, there's no cutscene, I already went there. So, yeah, so you can get your partner to drive by holding triangle while you're next to a vehicle, which is pretty good. That's pretty convenient. So, going to the gun store, load times. Also, because I've explained most of the basics right now, I'm also gonna be quiet more in this series and just let you all enjoy the gameplay. So, gold handle doors allow you to enter. Well, that's pretty convenient for Cole. The city made their handles gold just for him.
Can you tell us anything about this gun?
He didn't get his hat back. Maybe I was wrong.
27,
oh well, he didn't get his hat back.
Chambered for .357, nickel-plated with pearl grips. Same gun used by General Patton.
You're not suggesting he's the owner?
No.
Love that joke for some reason. Why is there a bear head mounted in the back of the gun store? I mean, this isn't a hunting rifle store. Why is there a bear head in the back? I mean, I guess somebody could buy the gun in order to hunt an animal, but they're in Los Angeles, so it's not like they're going to be able to hunt a lot of animals. So, open up a ledger, new clue, store ledger. I don't know why the gun store ledger is a clue, though.
You see it on there?
I would make the joke in which I would say everybody in the world of LA Noire has the exact same style of handwriting, but the gun shop owner probably wrote everybody's name down. So, let's see, Model 27 with pearl grips.
We're in luck. Errol
Schroeder.
South Glass Street. Ordered the gun in
South.
February 46.
I can't read it, and I couldn't hear what Cole Phelps
Thanks,
said.
you've been a big help.
Anytime.
Oh wait, now
Always happy
there's
to
a
help out the LAPD.
there's a bison head, a boar head, and a deer head mounted in the back of the gun store. This is Los Angeles. It isn't a rural environment.
Let's see if
Why
he's
are
at home.
why are 4 animal heads in the back of that gun
Okay.
store? It's not
In
like
for a
people are
penny,
going
in
to
for a
be
pound.
able to hunt those
Lead the
animals
way,
in
gun
Los
cadet.
Angeles. Oh well, better move on to Errol Schroeder's apartment. You turn on the siren, I think, with L3 while you're driving. Yeah, of course. Wait. Yeah, with L3, because R3 looks backwards. Well, it doesn't look backwards, sorry. It gives you a front view of your character, a front view.
Use our initiative. I guess so.
Oh,
Seems a little too
man,
good.
truck, get out of the way!
One-of-a-kind murder weapon bought locally using a real name. If Schroeder's our shooter, he's no criminal mastermind. And most of them aren't. That's why
Yeah,
they
Cole
get
Phelps pretty much summed up me saying how dumb Errol Schroeder is. If Errol Schroeder was a criminal mastermind, it wouldn't take this long to catch him. So, definitely looks like Ellen Noire with all those lights when we're passing over the bridge. So, you have to be careful in this game not to crash into other cars or damage city property, because as a cop, you're sworn to protect your people, so you can't be wrecking other people's cars and mowing down the city. So, that also comes into a big effect at the end of your cases. When you get promoted to traffic, and then at the end of the arson desk, the amount of money it will take to repair the damage you've done will be counted at the end of your case. But in beat cop cases, you don't get a rating of any stars because you're not up there with, like, traffic cases and all that. So there's a shoe store in the apartment where he lives, so Errol Schroeder is probably Tack the Cobbler, but he changed his name, so Tack the Cobbler is our murderer. Is that a shoe store? Yeah, that's a shoe store, so another gold-handled door. Schroeder is in apartment 2.
Schroeder, apartment 2.
Okay, so we're going up the stairs. Let's see. There. You don't even have to know the number. You don't even have to know the number of the apartment because the door is gold-handled. Pizza delivery. Props to Stan Birdman's
Cole
joke.
Phelps. This is Officer
Oh
Guy.
my God! It's
Close
a
to the
psychotic version of
You're
the
owner of
principal
Smith &
from
Wesson
Back to the
Model 27,
Future.
Nickel-plated with pearl grips.
I might be. What of it?
Then you'll be surprised to know that Scooter Payton was murdered tonight with your gun.
What
Yeah,
a
you're
twist!
Scooter? He works for me. I have that gun here in my drawer.
He seems to be truthful at first, but then the gun's
fuck is
missing
going on
and
here?
it turns
You're
into
under
a
arrest,
fight.
Schroeder, cuff him right.
No way. You're not taking me down for this.
Ow! Sucker punch. So the fine controls are pretty simple. You can punch, you can perform a grapple attack, you can finish, and you can dodge. It actually resembles the fine controls of Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings more than it does Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto. So you bash him like into his own table.
All right?
I'm fine. I hardly
Oh, there's my hat! Did you
Lucky
look
you
in the
caught me off
right?
guard.
There's my hat. All of a sudden my hat just reappears. I left it at the roof of a library, but all of a sudden it's back here. Why is my hat all of a sudden there? I'll get it, but did my hat teleport? Oh well. So, you have to examine this book. Further investigate. So, Ted Ross, Kaplan, Leroy, Clayton, Summer. Ooh, Floyd Rose is on this list, and...
List of names and a series of numbers.
Huh. I always find this ending lacking. Like, you don't know what the
Phelps
numbers
wouldn't
are.
come
You
out of
don't
this
know
all
why
bright and
Floyd
shiny
Rose
with
is
a
on this
commendation.
on that list,
Or
and
stick our
you don't know
schlongs
if
out
Errol
hornet's nest.
Schroeder. You don't know
Call
if
it in,
Errol
partner.
Schroeder was charged
Leave
with the
book
murder or
where you
not.
found it.
Stick our schlongs in a hornet's nest. Way to put the
Officer
most
Phelps,
disturbing image in my mind
447.
ever. So yeah, that was my first episode of LA Noire with Pacman. I hope you all enjoyed it, and look forward to the other episodes in the future. See all you YouTubers later.